Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the fifth round of this JAG Thursday Championship season. We're at the Zandvoort circuit here in the Netherlands, which should be a fantastic race coming up here. I believe we've even got a full grid on tap as well, which going around this very old-style circuit that was previously used before the 2021 F1 season. I believe the last time it was used was 1986. This is a very old-style circuit, very tight, treacherous, not a lot of overtaking opportunities. It's about getting into that flow and that rhythm, and we'll have to wait and see if this JAG grid can do just that. That's what has turned into a very fun circuit as well, not to mention with the banked NASCAR-style corners in both through Hugenholtz and the Arie Luyendyk corners, and of course, the threat of rain always there. Hotspot on the call for you. Good to be back. Shame I had to miss last time out in Great Britain, but it was a good road trip that I was on. And now I'm back. Let's see, will we have weather? Well, the only weather we're going to have is a lot of sun, and that's good news, because this track, difficult in the dry. Never mind the dry and the wet. That part's for sure. But either way... Oh. Sorry, I'm hoping I've fixed that now. Sorry, there we go. I think I fixed that now. I had my headset microphone in instead of the blue snowball mic that I have. So perhaps I'll have to edit out that first part. But either way, we're here at Zandvoort. Should be a very fun race. We've got Cole Paradox the first out on track. While we have a minute, let's take a look at your driver and constructor standings. If I can find them. There we go. So we'll start with the driver standings after last time out in Great Britain. RLS Marcus. Goodness me, I missed 1 week of casting and suddenly I can't speak English. RLS Marcus atop the table. Adonis second. Lil Jim third. Ali fourth. Mikey G fifth. Justerini sixth. JJ Trim seventh. Lord Alum eighth. Ninth is Iris Dubs. And rounding at the top 10 is Shabs in his McLaren as far as the constructors are concerned. After last time out, Ferrari lead the way. Mercedes only 11 points behind, 116 to 105. 2 points behind them, actually tied, is both Williams and the Sauber. For the third spot at 103 points, McLaren at 96, only 3 points ahead of the Alpines at 93. Red Bull 20 points ahead of Aston Martin at 81. That's for the 7th spot. The V-Carbs in 9th, and Haas rounding out the 10 teams. And so here we are now, first driver out on track for a time lap. It's going to be that of Cole Paradox. He's making his way in towards the Tarzan corner. It's a fun corner, this. It's slightly reminiscent to that of the turn 1 at Qatar. You got 2 lanes of action around the outside and then on the inside like that. And if they don't have it sorted out going into Hugenholtz here, it's going to be a mess. Hugenholtz, fun corner, very high banked circuit this. You can get a couple of lanes of racing in through that as well. That's where Daniel Ricciardo broke his wrist last season. Going through Rob Slotmaker and into Shivlak corner now. Very treacherous Sector 1, that, and Sector 2 is no better. This right-hander of Shivlak, very careful. You got to be on exit of the exit curb as well. Not a lot of room, as well as here through Masters Corner. They've actually extended some of that curb on the outside. It used to be just straight sand. Now they've actually put some curb there to give the drivers a fair shot at actually being able to survive going wide through that corner. Through 9 and 10 they go. Down the back straight now, heading into the Hans Ernst corners. The quick right and left-hander after that. Exits the corner. You're going to get a little bit of oversteer there if you don't be careful on the throttle. Now going through Kumo corner, and finally the high-banked corner of Arie Luyendyk. Very quick. DRS has actually been pushed back. We'll go along with the Ferrari here of Marcus. Right about here is where the DRS now begins for this corner. It didn't used to be until past there. That was the old DRS line. It's now been moved to before the corner. So perhaps even some overtaking in through that section of the track in the race as well. Usually going through that final corner of Arie Luyendyk, you're going to see drivers more or less, kind of set up runs down the pit straight through that corner. You're not going to see overtakes be made, but now perhaps that could be a possibility. As so far, Cole Paradox has the fastest lap by over 0.8 of a second back to Shabs. The next driver across the line is Iris Dubs. He's gone now within 7.5 tenths. We've got the McLaren up next. It's going to be that of Lord Alum. To the line he goes. He's going to go 4th, 112.022. And some of these drivers I'm noticing now using the medium tires, specifically the McLaren duo of Shabs and Lord Alum. Both drivers on the mediums. once they fit the softs, you can expect them to improve probably another half a second as JJ Trim goes provisional pole 1:10.368. That's a good lap. Gets half a second behind to Cole Paradox. As next up, we've got Jag Greg rounding the Ari Lyondike corner down the pit straight, and that's provisional pole for Greg. 1:10.147. Very good lap from him. And as I believe it is that of Cole Paradox coming in now, that will pretty much round out our first couple of timed attempts here, but we do now have the V-carb of Rothwell coming around the final corner now, and down the pit straight he goes. He's going to go fourth. That's a good lap. 1:11.391. Down by about a second. Oh, goodness me, that Ferrari really dove in there. Whoa. Was that Marcus? Well, Marcus came through the final corner. I guess couldn't get the car back down in time. He's nearly... Well, we got cars spinning everywhere now. Now the Aston Martin involved as well, as Ira Stubbs has actually gone top of the table. 1:09.708. We thought Jag Greg's time of the 1:10 something or another was actually quite quick. Ira Stubbs has gotten that by nearly 4.5 tenths of a second. That's a lot. Rob Sue making his way into Hugenholtz now. We've got Lil Jim rounding Ari Lyondike. Adonis apparently having some sort of connection issues or something of another. I'm not too sure. Lil Jim's gone third, 1:10.275. Gets himself within 6 tenths of a second of that top spot. So a very, I'd say halfway decently close top four for the time being. It's not right there, razor thin margins between them, but for the time being, it's enough to actually consider this a competitive grid for the time being. I think Rob Sue made a mistake somewhere through turn 9, so this is not going to be a good lap from him. We do have Alex Duarte, Justerini, and, well, Adonis didn't put a time together in a lead. The 3 other drivers not on track at the moment who have yet to put together a time, but it is after your first round timed attempts, Ira Stubbs on pole by at least 4 tenths of a second. That time by Jag Greg, I think, may even get better, so we'll have to wait and see how that works. Wondering if there's anybody else out on timed attempts. It looks as if we're going to get one of the Haas cars in here, probably both of them, as it turns out. Just the Aston Martin of Spider on the way in now. Oh, and he's taking the pit lane speed time with him. Pit lane speed sign with him. Goodness me. I tell you what. Last night was much of this of the same. I had the CCRL race, and I just could not spit out the words correctly, has to be said. Lil Jim making his way through in towards Hugenholtz now. I think this might be a timed lap from Lil Jim here. His battery is on the hot lap setting through Hugenholtz. Seems to be treating this as a timed lap. Let's see. He's got 5.5 tenths of a second to the provisional pole time. We got 11 minutes remaining in the session. 3 tenths quicker through Sector 1 as he makes his way through Shivlak and then Masters Corner coming up now. Turn 9 and 10 after that, I believe. Who have we just had cross the line? That was Rothwell. He's gone 5th. Actually, that's a great attempt from Rothwell. 6 tenths of a second off the pace. It appears JJ Trim might be getting on another lap here shortly. Lil Jim has actually gone purple Sector 2 as well. It appears both the McLaren drivers have ditched the medium tires. Through Kumo. Ari Lyondike next up, round the corner. DRS activated way back there, and across the line is going to be Lil Jim. Looking a good lap. He's actually going to go second. 1:09.801, improves by nearly... Well, what the hell has happened here? Shabs has got a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Alex Duarte. Well, that is the... Where is the Alpine gone here? I'm very curious to see what's happened. Is he missing front wing? He's picked up a penalty, that much we do know, but there doesn't appear to be any damage between them. But, again, Lil Jim within 1/10 of a second of Ira Stubbs. That's a great lap. JJ Trim to third. Ira Stubbs still has top of the table for the time being. We've got the V-carb coming around next up of Rob Sue, who I believe is on a flyer here. Coming around Ari Lyondike corner now. And, nope, into the pit lane for him. We've got the Aston Martin next up. I believe that's going to be Justerini. Justerini coming to start one now. Let's go along with the Aston Martin driver who has used, incredibly enough, 50% of his battery on his outlap. That seems like a lot to me, and it is. In through Hugenholtz corner now. Still a lot of drivers. This is interesting what we're seeing. Usually in real life, we're seeing drivers go way up to the paint on the outside of that corner. But in game, we're seeing these drivers stick close to the apex on the inside. Now, when you're racing on an oval circuit, kind of like, obviously that's not an oval, but when you're racing on an oval circuit with banked corners, usually it is quicker to stay along the outside, because you may hinder yourself for, time initially, but you will build up the extra speed that much quicker. So the fact that we're not seeing drivers take that corner around the outside is a little confusing to me, actually. Of course, being near down lower to the apex is obviously quicker, time, at least to that part, but the straight line speed you can make up going through the next portion of the track, I think is actually kind of worth going around the outside like that, but that apparently is not what we're seeing. Justerini DRS activated, going through Ari Lyondike corner now, way down to the inside. He's going to make his way back to the outside here, down the pit straight, and across the line is the Aston Martin. He's up to 8th, 1:10.912. We saw him have at least one or two little lockups there. He has gotten around Human Tech by at least 6/100ths of a second, and he's behind Cole Paradox by about 4/100ths of a second. Very close midfield for the time being. It was that just now of Shabs, who's gone 6th. About 3/100ths, matter of fact, exactly 3/100ths behind Rothwell for that 5th spot. The V-Carb now on his outlap, as well as JJ Trim, who's about to begin one here. Ira Stubbs making his way through the Rob Slotmaker corners now, but JJ Trim starting one. Let's go along with the Alpine here. And, well, it has to be said, it almost doesn't appear as if he's starting a timed lap here. He's not using his energy. This is his first lap since his outlap, and yeah, I don't know. It doesn't appear that JJ Trim is going to be giving us a time here. 7.5 minutes to go. Red Bull across the line now. That was Mikey G. He's gone 8th. Gets Cole Paradox by 14/1000ths of a second. The next Red Bull across the line, that's going to be C. Rees. To the line he goes. He actually doesn't improve. He's slower by 1.5 seconds. We got the Aston Martin of Justerini to the line. Of course, he's not improved. Mercedes coming up next. That's going to be Ira Stubbs. Let's go along with the Mercedes here. In towards Tarzan corner now. Oh, a lot of slide on the back end there. He's thankful he's caught it. But that's going to be the early end to an attempt already for this Mercedes. Current provisional pole sitter, albeit by less than 1/10 of a second. But kind of lucky he didn't lose that car. Good way to save it. Jag Greg on the way into the pit lane here. We've got his teammate of Dunda currently on a timed lap, I believe. We've had just now one of the Sauber start one. It's going to be Ali starting one now. Still has yet to put together a timed attempt. We'll go along with Ali here. Through Tarzan corner. All looks right here. On the way into Hugenholtz now. And again, we're seeing them go so low to the apex. Kind of almost in the oval racing world, we call that diamonding the corner, where you kind of go up the hill and then you cut it short, slightly more up the track on a sharper angle, and it has somewhat the same effect as, going the high line, but not exactly. Making his way through turn 9 now. He'll be next up to turn 10. He's got clear track ahead of him, aside from the V-Carb next up, who I believe is Rothwell. I don't think he's going to get in his way here. DRS activated for Ali. Down the back straight, heading into the Hans Ernst corners. Very quick right and then left corner of this, as we've said. Sometimes we'll see drivers go side by side there, and only a couple of times does it end up okay. That's a tough corner. And the game's going to say that he's gone out wide. He's invalidated track limits going through Kumo corner on the way into Ari Lyondike. I don't know about that. I thought he stayed on track. It would have been a 1:10.278. Which would have been good enough, I would think, for probably top 5. That's really unfortunate for Ali. We've got 5 minutes remaining here. Next up is Rob Sue. He's beginning one now. So Ira Stubbs, 1:09.662, new current provisional pole time. That's a good-looking lap for the Mercedes there. Especially we're getting to the back end of this session, really. Rob Sue's going to be coming up to the Sector 2 timing line here at the back end of the straight. Is quicker by 0.3 of a second. That'll put him roughly that 9th spot. By the way, between Cole Paradox and Justerini, 3/1000ths of a second. Very competitive top 10 for the time being. All but 4 cars currently in the pit lane. Sorry, 5, either way. Rob Sue to the line does go 10th. He's got Mikey G by a clean 10th of a second there. Not a bad attempt for Rob Sue, but I don't really think going to have much time to get that car back in, refueled, new tires if he needs it, and then back out for another timed attempt. Ira Stubbs looks as if he's on low fuel. He's not going to be starting another one here naturally. Shabs is out on track now. Next up around the line, we've got one of the Saubers. It's Human Tech, who I believe just making way for the V-carb then of Rob Sue, who is not on a timer here. We've got the Ferrari of Marcus on track as well. 2.5 quicker through Sector 1. Making his way through Turn 9 now. Oh, he's going to go too wide here. Well, I tell you what, despite going wide, he's held it pretty clean for what it was. It's not going to help his time any. Down the back straight he goes in towards the timing line now. Still a 2.5 quicker through Sector 2. Over the first part of Hans Ernst. Holds it well. A little bit of correction there, exiting the corner. And through the Ari Leyendyke corner now and into the pit lane for Marcus. He has seen something he did not like on that timed attempt. So now with 2:15 remaining, Lil Jim, our next driver up and around here. Shabs has actually started his timed attempt, so we'll go along with him. He's making his way into Hugenholtz now. Once again, takes the corner very shallow to the inside, tries to slingshot on his way out. But, actually, this doesn't appear to be a timed lap. It did say hot lap for a minute, but it's not anymore. Does appear that Lil Jim is on a time lap now. Let's go along with him. He's making his way through Hugenholtz. We got 1:40 remaining in this qualifying session. Does go that time a little bit higher, and he's invalidated. God, I'm hoping he has enough fuel to get himself one more good attempt. He's gone microscopically wide going into Hugenholtz then, and it's invalidated his lap. Got JJ Trim on an out lap. We've got Rothwell on an out lap as well. Sorry, this is Jag Greg. As well as Rothwell. We've got Lord Alum on an out lap, Cole Paradox on an out lap. Matter of fact, Cole's going to be starting one here in a second. 1:15 remain. Down the pit straight goes Cole Paradox, heading in towards that Tarzan corner. Keeps it really low to the inside, exits the corner, uses the curve on the outside, but only just. Not using too much of it. In towards Hugenholtz now. He'll keep this one low to the apex. At least on the way into the corner, kind of goes a little bit wide through the top end. Avoids the Sauber that was off to the outside there, going through the Rob Slotmaker corners now. Cole Paradox looking quite good. He is 4/1000 slower through Sector 1, but to me that's not enough to abandon a lap, not at this point. Through Masters Corner, through turns 9 and 10 coming up next, and he's got clear track ahead of him. 30 seconds remain. It's going to probably be our first driver on his last attempt here. I don't think he's going to make it back to the line in time to start a new one. He is about a 10th quicker through Sector 2, so that'll give him at least 2 spots here going up to 8th, I would say. 10 seconds remain. He's not going to make it back around to the line to start another one, but DRS activated here. He's not going to have any battery either. Through the Ari Leyendyke corner now, down to the pit straight he goes, and across the line for Cole Paradox will go 7th, 1:10.329. So now, the McLaren of Shabs has seen something he doesn't like. He's not going to finish it off. Jag Greg making his way through Shevlak corner now, Dunda to the line. And what's he going to do? He's going to stay 16th. Next up, the Sauber of Human Tech into the pit lane. Behind him, the Alpine, it was JJ Trim, has stayed 3rd. Next up behind him, his teammate of Alex Duarte has done all he could. We've got the V-carb of Rothwell to the line now. Across the line for him, he's going to go 4th. Next up, the other Sauber. It's that of Ali, who has yet to put together a timed attempt, exiting Ari Leyendyke now. Down and across the line goes Ali, and he's only going to go 15th. That's a very poor result for the Sauber team there. Lord Alum has stayed 9th. Lil Jim, top of the table, 109.404. Gets Ira Stubbs by currently 3/10 of a second there, but Ira Stubbs is going to be getting a hell of a tow here from Rob Sue as they make their way through Ari Lyondike corner now. Ira Stubbs going to follow him all the way down to the inside. He may have lost some time trying to swerve and keep the tow. Improves by 1/10.5, but not enough to take provisional pole. Well, an entertaining qualifying session that comes to a close, and it is that of Lil Jim on pole by 1/10 of a second over Ira Stubbs. Third is JJ Trim. Fourth, Rothwell. Fifth, Jag Greg. Sixth, Justerini. Seventh, Cole Paradox. Eighth, Shabs. Ninth, Lord Alum. 10th is Rob Sue. Row 6 lockout for the Red Bulls. Mikey G and C. Reese. 13th is Duarte. 14th, Human Tech. 15th, Elise. 16th is that of the of Spider. 17th, Dunda. 18th, Marcus. And Adonis did not get the opportunity to put together a timed attempt. But the McLaren driver of Shabs, remember, has a 5-place grid penalty for the collision with Duarte with about 10 minutes remaining in the session. We still don't really know what happened there, but should be a fun Grand Prix coming up. And so the formation lap now underway. It appears for the time being, at least, that we've got clear skies. We don't know if there is rain later on, but we've got a good mixture of tire strategies going on. Lil Jim's chosen the mediums, Ira Stubbs gone soft, JJ Trim the mediums, and Rothwell's gone hard. So, all 3 compounds of tire being used in the top 4, but it does appear the majority of the grid on those medium tires. And hey, by the way, next time out we head to the, what's the full name of it again? It's the Mexico City track. It's Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez or something like that for double points night and a 100% distance Grand Prix. That one is going to be fun. Let's say that. That's going to be for sure. And then the next 2 after that, we go to Singapore, round 7, and we go to my home race, Canada, Montreal, for round number 8. Should be a fun next couple of races this, but it is Lil Jim on pole here. That's race strategy as you're seeing lap 16 to 20 for the soft to the medium. Question is, what's the degradation going to be, or the delta between the 2 compounded tires? I don't think it's going to be all that much. The softs will absolutely have the advantage here in the early goings, as they do. But I'm thinking they might be close enough to get away with, because if that tire window's about midway through the race like we're seeing, to go to soft to medium, it's about and around that 15 lap mark, that tells me the tires are not all too dissimilar from each other. We're talking like Singapore, where the tires are only going to last 8 laps, that's different. But yeah, I think we're going to see these soft tires be run pretty deep into the race here. I would say at least to halfway, potentially. The mediums, no doubt about it. I think if we get a safety car, that's going to be the big difference. But Lil Jim's going to have the outside here into Tarzan corner. If Ira Stubbs, on those soft tires, can get a good launch to the inside, he's going to have one hell of a time trying to get round Lil Jim. As JJ Trim in on this as well. Just waiting for Adonis to come to the line here. Got the Ferrari of Marcus doing it as well. But it will be the Williams of Lil Jim who will lead us off the line into the Tarzan corner. The lights are going to be turning on here very shortly. Williams on the outside, Mercedes on the inside. Lights turning on, 3, 4, and eventually 5 here at Circuit Zandvoort. And we've got several drivers with a jump start now. C-Rees and Alex Duarte, both of them have gone too early. Lil Jim gets a better start. Ira Stubbs is going to have to try to send to the inside, but he's just simply not close enough. It's 4 abreast towards the back end of the grid. A little bit of contact there for the Aston Martin of Spider and Adonis and Marcus and Dunda, but it looks as if Marcus has gone around to the back as well as Rothwell, and I think perhaps is there a Williams involved? I can't quite see. Through Hugenholtz they go, and now we've got cars everywhere. We've got Adonis, who's fallen all the way back to 13th. Human Tech is, well, I say all the way back. He's actually up 7 positions. I was thinking about the other Mercedes making their way now. And we've got cars everywhere now. The Ferrari of Marcus has hit the wall on the inside there. Goodness me, conundrums off the start here. Rothwell down 15 positions already. Rob Sue down 2. Duarte down 2. As it looks as if Shabs now being overtaken as, I don't even know what's going on here. He's phasing in and out of Adonis. And around goes Human Tech at the back now, exiting turn 10. So much happening on this opening lap, but what has happened is the top 3 have stayed exactly the same. Lil Jim has the lead, heading into Kumo. Ira Stubbs follows behind very closely. 2.5 tenths of a second here through the Ari Lyondike corner as Human Tech, I think, is spun round again, going through the Hans Ernst corners. To the inside now, Ira Stubbs for the lead of the Grand Prix. He wasn't able to do it off the line, but he's going to get it into turn 1 on the second lap. Ira Stubbs, new leader to the Grand Prix. That may open the door for JJ Trim, with Jag Greg looking in behind. He'll have to fend off Justerini, but I don't think Justerini is really charging ahead all that far for the time being. Going through Hugenholtz now. The grid circulates their way through, and it looks like this time it's going to be much more clean, except Mikey G, well, he nearly had a look to the inside of Lord Allen through Hugenholtz, but it's not going to have it through the Rob Slotmaker corners now. And I think we can start to calm down for the time being. 36-lap Grand Prix. This, again, very difficult to overtake. But here goes Ali to the inside on the way into the Masters corner. And, yeah, I don't believe he's going to get it this time, although a good look from Ali. And even having a look through a difficult corner like that is enough to throw a driver ahead of you off guard as Shabs through turn 10. I thought he was going to slip a little bit wider that time. He hasn't. DRS obviously activated after the first lap of the Grand Prix now. Ali had a small look to the inside, nothing having it into the Hans Ernst corner. Perhaps through Ari Lyondike is going to be the next question of potential overtaking opportunity. It looks as if, we got a good battle going on here. Cole Paradox and Justerini side by side. Paradox has actually gone down the inside through the Ari Lyondike corner, and now Lord Allen's going to look for it into Tarzan corner. He's done just that, and it looks as if C. Rees, a 10-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Goodness me, penalties already. Justarini's gone wide through the corner. He's going to allow Mikey G down to the inside as they exit Hugenholtz. It looks as if Mikey G won't be able to get the position, but it was very close indeed. And the door potentially still open for Ali now. 10th of a second behind Shabs, who's got Rob Sue in this battle as well, heading into Shivlak corner. And I don't think anything's going to happen here, potentially. These cars are slightly too big for the circuit, he asked me. But still, and Rob Sue's going to... Well, I tell you what, he slid quite far, and he saved it, in fairness to him. But that one was dangerously close. That one as well. Rob Sue, something is not right with that V-carb for the time being. Couple of mistakes early here as Human Tech is slow, I think. Something was happening there. We've got that Red Bull to the inside of the circuit of Mikey G. Justarini's going to have to go to the right side now through Kumo, and eventually Ari Lyondike coming up next. Still side by side. This may allow Adonis to the inside of Ari Lyondike, and he does. A little bit of contact there. Nothing to complain about. Adonis gets the spot. He's up 11 spots since the beginning of this race. And now it's Adonis to the outside of Mikey G as we have Lord Allen and Cole Paradox. The McLaren has gotten around the Williams there with somewhat ease, it appears, and it looks as if Jag Greg has overtaken JJ Trim in the process as well. Bit of a slide there into Hugenholtz, but the battle for the lead still half a second. Justerini, Mikey G, well, we were only on with him for probably 0.3 of a second there, but that car really hooked to the right, exiting Hugenholtz. I'm a little surprised he saved it, because that car was a decent bit sideways, even for my eyes to notice. 4 laps of the Grand Prix complete now. Adonis up 12 positions, Lord Allen up 3, Marcus up 6, Ali up 5. Series now has a 10-second penalty for what we assume is speeding into the pit lane. I believe that's what that was. And I think that was in serving his drive-through as well. Not too sure about that, but what I do know is that nowadays in this game, you can serve tenors all by itself. You don't have to come in and break it up in 5-second pairings. You can just go ahead and serve the penalty. Down the pit straight they go. JJ Trim's got a fantastic run here on the way into Tarzan. Ira Stubbs actually going to defend quite well. He's not going to allow JJ Trim, Lil Jim, God almighty, to have a look into the corner. Through Hugenholtz now, this is where mistakes could be made. Lil Jim is going to have to try to force Ira Stubbs into a mistake now. It's not quite going to happen for the time being. Yeah, not there quite yet. Although we have a yellow flag going through Tarzan corner, and it's Human Tech who's gone around, and he's got the wall on the inside of the circuit as well. Back to 18th for him. We've got Ali within a 10th and a half of Shabs now on their way through past Shivlak corner, through Masters corner now. That McLaren is going to slip to the outside. That's going to allow Ali to get to the inside and up to the 10th place for the Sauber in question. But now Shabs is going to try to stick it around the outside here through turn 10. Side by side they're going to go. Only one of them is going to have the DRS. It is the McLaren of Shabs who's going to have the right side as they make their way down to the Hans Ernst corner. And the McLaren looks like he's going to get the position. It finally does. I was going to say I wasn't quite convinced that he did get the spot, but he eventually did. And exiting turn 12, he's done it And he's got a lead by some distance going into Kumo and Ari Lyondike next up. But now, Lil Jim and Ira Stubbs side by side once more. Ira Stubbs trying to stay on the inside here through Tarzan. Still side by side. If they don't sort this out before Hugenholtz, I was going to say it was going to be some sort of disaster there, but they have, and Lil Jim has taken the lead off of the Mercedes in question, who, sporting those soft tires, I would assume, might start to be feeling the effects at some point here in the near future. Still 0.2 of a second. Any mistake by either of these two drivers will be capitalized upon. Jag Greg, in the meantime, has fallen back 2.5 of a second. Oh, and he's fallen back either more as over the curb, in through the grass, and into the sand. Jag Greg down to 7th position. I was going to say he looked to be struggling with that car. Was 2.5 seconds behind that top two, and has fallen back to 7th after a couple of errors. All he's hit is the brake marker on the outside of the corner. This will leave Adonis to the back of Cole Paradox here, but still the battle for the lead going through Ari Lyondike. To the inside is going to look for Ira Stubbs here, and he's going to get that one relatively with ease, it appears. We'll go along now. It's Cole Paradox, Lord Alum getting to the inside of JJ Trim. Thought we were going to have another move there. Cole Paradox, I thought, was going to make the move happen on Lord Alum. As it turns out, it was the other way around. As we got Marcus and Shabs and Ali battling now for the 10th position. It looks as if Marcus to 11th, Shabs down to 12th. Adonis was on the outside of Hugenholtz that time. Couldn't stick it around the outside of Cole Paradox. So much going on here. Still 7 laps in. And this grid, minus that of the top two, very competitive with each other for the time being. So Ira Stubbs leads Little Jim by 0.5 second here. Adonis looking for the back of Cole Paradox here on the way into turn 10. Oh, bit of a... Well, I don't even know what's happening, but DRS activated here for this train of cars into the Hans Ernst corner. Something is not right, I will say that much. It looks as if the internet jumping all over the place. We've got 0.5 second between the top two here as Lil Jim still trying his best to hunt down Ira Stubbs on the way into Tarzan corner. Lord Alum's got a halfway decent advantage on the couple of cars behind him on the way into Tarzan as well. He's not going to face any challenge from behind. JJ Trim too far back. Cole Paradox can't make it on JJ, and Adonis can't make it on Cole Paradox, at least for the time being. I think it's Ali and Marcus now battling for the 10th spot. I think Marcus has gotten around Ali somewhere along the line. Up 8 positions since the beginning of this Grand Prix. My dog is barking at something. Through turns 9 and 10 now, it appears that Adonis has actually gotten a halfway decent jump here on the back of Cole Paradox. JJ Trim trying to get to it as well. Can't quite get there for the time being. Got a yellow flag going through Sector 2. As it's Alex Duarte spinning about then. Lil Jim to the inside of Ira Stubbs. This is going to be for the lead of the Grand Prix, and I think he's gotten that one relatively easily. Had a yellow flag going down the pit straight. Was that for the Red Bull of C. Rees? I'm not too sure what's happened with him. Cole Paradox, a tenth and a half here. So Cole Paradox, 0.2 of a second for the time being, trying to get to the back end of JJ Trim. As they make their way down the back straight now, I'm thinking potentially is Cole Paradox and have a look to the inside. No, that was going to be risky there on the way into Hans Ernst. There was no way that one was going to be able to happen. Oh, and he slid, and he's done the front wing there, I'm afraid. Cole Paradox, who's having a good start to this race, I'm afraid spins it coming out of the Hans Ernst corners, and, well, has lost the front wing as well, and now falls to 12th, and he's side by side with Rob Sue. He's not going to make any contact with the V-carb there. Oh, that was quite the collision between Mikey G and Jag Greg. They're going to be side by side through Hugenholtz now. Still side by side, and, well, Jag Greg's going to get down to the inside. I think he's going to keep that spot potentially, as we've got Cole Paradox into the pit lane. I think, is he retiring for the session or something? No, he's replacing a front wing. Oh, no, it's the Aston Martin Spider. And Spider, I think, is going to be taking the easy way out here. Yep, he's retired. So Lil Jim leads Ira Stubbs by about 6.5 tenths of a second. JJ Trim leads Adonis by 3 tenths of a second here through the Hans Ernst corners. Jag Greg has fallen behind this battle, now 2 seconds out of the way. Mikey GTI, after battling with Jag Greg, still not really in a position to hunt him down, but Adonis and JJ Trim now battling through the Ari Lyondike corner. 1/10.5, 2 tenths of a second here the most as they make their way down the pit straight, and it looks as if... Oh, Adonis nearly got into the back end of the Alpine, then that would have been a definite spin. So 3 tenths of a second now the gap. Adonis still looking to hunt down JJ Trim here. We got a yellow flag going through the first corner. I think Human Tech has spun the car somewhere along the line. Yes, it appears that he has. Adonis is getting back to it now. I think he's going to be looking for a move on JJ Trim here, potentially into the Hans Ernst corner. No, it doesn't appear that he's going to have it this time. Although he is still right there, still doing his best, trying to hunt down this Alpine ahead of him as they make their way through Kumo and Ari Lyondike after that. 2 tenths of a second here through the Ari Lyondike corner, and it looks as if Adonis is going to get a halfway decent run. If JJ Trim keeps this position, it's going to be because he has DRS to Lord Allam ahead, and it doesn't appear that JJ Trim is going to lose the spot this time. But Marcus, the first driver, I think strategically pitting here. It's going to be hard tires for the Ferrari in question. Adonis now potentially trying the outside through Hugenholtz. He's not going to have it on JJ Trim, not this time. Up 14 positions is that Mercedes. Still looking as if he could do some damage. A lot of close battles happening up and down this grid. Adonis still 3.5 tenths of a second behind, but we've got the pair of the V-Carbs. Potentially, will they battle here? As Rob Sue will have to get around his teammate of Rothwell, as Shabs picks up a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. I believe that was going out wide through turn either 8 or 9. Not too sure, but either way, he's picked up the penalty. We got 3.5 tenths here between Adonis and JJ Trim. Still, battle for the top two. Ira Stubbs, 5.5 tenths of a second. Back to Lil Jim. DRS activated for the Mercedes. Down the pit straight he goes. Is he going to have a look into the first corner? No, he's not going to be close enough. Not this time. Adonis now trying to hunt down the back end of the Alpine. Tell you what, the only reason why he's not lost that position is, side by side, more contact between these two in question. We saw a couple of laps ago, Mikey G and Jag Greg, contact between them. As it appears Spider has left the session. As Dundas picked up a 10-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane, I'm afraid. Ali within a 10.5 of Justerini here, making their way through the Rob Slotmaker corner, up through Shivlak. Jag Greg still versus Mikey G here. Mikey GTI is gonna go quite wide. And I think Justerini, taking evasive action, has gone wide as well. He's lost the position to Ali, and now is going to lose it to Shabs around the outside. Well, a bit of a chain reaction there, I'm afraid, as Mikey GTI goes wide, exiting turn number 9, which forces the Aston Martin of Justerini wide as well, I believe. Either that or, again, 2 errors kind of in a row then. Down in the first corner, still not really close enough to make anything happen, as Human Tech a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Coming up closer at about halfway through this Grand Prix, Elite does get around Mikey G into the first corner. JJ Trim, 0.4 of a second, back to Lord Alum. Ira Stubbs, 0.4 of a second still, as it looks as if finally the V-Carb drivers have inverted positions here. Well, I say that. I don't think inverted positions, more or less, they fought for that 11th spot. Adonis to the inside of JJ Trim. This is through turn 9. This is a bold place to make something happen, and he's still side by side, and contact being made. And around the outside now, looking at Adonis on JJ Trim. Is he going to have it exiting the corner? Yes, he will. Well, a good battle there. Ends up with Adonis in 4th place. Eight and a half tenths of a second now, and I'm wondering, is Ira Stubbs just going to follow Lil Jim into the pit lane? That would be my guess. I think Ira Stubbs is waiting to see if Lil Jim pits early, and perhaps as he, he'll probably go to the hards. Lil Jim probably either to the softs or to the hards. As Ali and Greg side by side now, going through Tarzan corner, a little bit of contact there, nothing serious. Although that time, Ali goes into the back end of Jag Greg. Oh, and look at this on the inside. Mikey GTI sends it through Hugenholtz. And still side by side. Well, Mikey G has sent it a couple of times today. We've seen him have contact with Jag Greg twice, and then Ali really going through Hugenholtz that time. Human Tech's actually going to be overtaken twice now, as Cole Paradox gets it onto the inside, but Dunda can't quite get there. But I was going to say is this, Lil Jim is either pulled ahead, he's had a really good lap, or Ira Stubbs has made a mistake somewhere along the line. That gap was about 0.7 of a second not long ago. It's now outside of that second DRS window, and Ira Stubbs will pit, I'm assuming, to the medium tires coming up here, with about 20 laps to go. So the mediums for Ira Stubbs. That'll set him back to the 10th spot now, as Justarini to the inside of Shabs, and still side by side here, and it looks as if Justarini is going to keep that 9th spot. Rothwell's picked up a 10-second penalty for speeding the pit lane. Has somebody taken the pit entry sign? Actually, yes, because... Oh, as C. Ree's got a puncture here. Yes, he has. He's taken the softs this far. He's got a puncture. That's why we're seeing drivers pick up these 10-second penalties. That sign on the way into the pit lane is no longer there. Remember, Spider took that with him on the way into his retirement. So we've seen at least now 3 or 4 10-second speeding penalties because going into the pit lane, Spider took the pit lane speed limit sign with him on the way into retiring into the pit lane. Ali a couple of tenths behind Jag Greg. JJ Trim, I don't think he's going to have a look at Adonis this time. Ali through Ari Lyondike corner now in the Haas of Jag Greg on his way in. See, there's where the sign used to be, and it's no longer there. Shabs to the inside of Justarini. Looks like he's going to get it this time. Ira Stubbs is going to get that position on Jag Greg, who's going to go to the hard tires from his mediums. We got a yellow flag exiting turn 10. I think it's C. Rees. Yes, it is. He's lost a lot of his front wing. Well, I say a lot of it, just the end plate on the left front side. Still, front wing lost. And now he's got a cede position to Lord Alum here, hopefully in a safe manner. We have another yellow flag now. Something I think has happened. Oh, no, maybe it is just C. Rees again, ceding position. I think that's what it is. Has to be. Into the pit lane goes Adonis. Somehow he's kept those soft tires from having a puncture like we saw Series. And it is going to be medium tires on here for the Mercedes. We've got a Red Bull on the way in as well. I believe it is that. It's not Mikey GTI. It's Justerini to the inside of Shabs. Going to get that position back as well as the Mercedes of Irish Stubbs to the inside of Shabs. And now Irish Stubbs side by side with Justerini on the way into Hugenholtz. Oh, big slide there for Irish Stubbs, but he has kept it. Well, that one was close. And now he's going to go to the inside. Well, I tell you what, you talk about working a racing line to try to find an advantage about a driver around you. That is brilliantly done from Irish Stubbs, who's very well got in that position. Jag Greg now a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I wonder how many more drivers we're going to see that happen to. I'm assuming we're going to see Lil Jim pit here relatively soon. He has yet to do so. It's not going to be this time by Lord Allen, neither. Still yet to pit is 7 out of the top 8 drivers, although we're going to see JJ Trim pit now. Really having to lock it up there. We're going to see now the next kind of queue of cars, starting with Human Tech on the way, and it's going to be hard tires for the Alpine in question. As we've got, who is that? It's Adonis and Rob Sue side by side exiting Ari Leyendyke, and it looks as if the Mercedes is going to do it quite well there, but Rob Sue now has to fend off Marcus, who goes to the inside and will get that 9th spot on his 7-lap-old hard tires. A Series is retired, that being in the pit lane, thankfully enough. So remember, here's another look at the penalties. A lot of drivers on pens for the time being. Grid starting to get slightly far apart from each other, but it's Irish Stubbs to the back of Mikey GTI. Current battle happening now. 0.4 of a second, still trying to get to the back end of the Red Bull here. Having a bit of a look now through Kumo. I tell you what, Mikey GTI did not get a good go through Kumo, and Irish Stubbs is going to have a hell of a time here, easily. Getting past Mikey GTI, I think. Down to the inside. Yep, that one's going to be easy enough for Irish Stubbs, who will get that 3rd spot. As we've got a Lee into the pit lane. Shabs and Justerini battling once more. A little bit of contact there. Got 0.4 of a second for Rob Sue, back to JJ Trim. Doesn't quite appear that Rob Sue is close enough, at least for the time being, make anything happen. The question is now, Justerini and Shabs, I don't think this battle's going to end all that well. I think something's going to happen here, because these guys have been going back at it, back and forth every time so far. I mean, every time we go on with them in towards Tarzan corner, somebody's being overtaken, and it's very close as well. It's not like somebody's going around the outside. No, really diving to the inside. So that tells me these guys playing it very aggressively. Usually ends to a bit of contact, and perhaps some steward reports later on. We'll have to wait and see. As going through Kumo corner, and eventually Ari Leyendyke after that. Down the pit straight they go. Lord Allen to the pit lane. Oh, it's going to be a double stack here for the McLarens. That usually doesn't end well, but Mikey G's onto the softs. Justerini up to 3rd. Side by side here, exiting the pit lane, it's Lord Allen and JJ Trim. Oh, that one was very close to being dangerous there. That's a bit of an odd pit lane exit, that, because then you end up side by side with the driver going into the narrowest part of the track. Lord Allen still a 10.5 behind JJ Trim here, looking perhaps through Shivlak corner. It's not going to happen this time. Oh, but look at this, Lord Allen. Nope, never mind. So still 0.5 of a second between these two. JJ Trim, second behind RLS Marcus, although will have DRS to the back end of the Ferrari here. The only drivers we're waiting to pit as Jag Greg retires from the session back there in 16th. The only drivers have yet to stop is that of Giustarini and Rob Sue. Giustarini on the mediums, Rob Sue on the hards. As Jag Greg retires in the pit lane, I'm unfortunate to say. Going through Ari Lyondike corner now. Lord Allam, is he going to try it? Side by side down the pit straight here. We've also got Adonis and Giustarini. Giustarini into the pit lane, that's why. So the robot Haas of Jag Greg has actually pulled himself back onto the circuit. Along with Mikey G here. Well, that's where his car did come to rest. Thankfully, the game has taken him off track, because that sort of thing I have seen happen. As Rothwell now, 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and he's called it a day. Oh, big slide there from Rob Sue, but he's kept it together. Lord Allam, 0.2 of a second now. He's going to have to try it down to the inside of RLS Marcus. Really having to get onto the grass there. As they make their way into the Hans Ernst corner, a lot of contact being made. Yeah, well, I have to say it. That's probably going to be a steward report later on. That's going to allow JJ Trim into this battle now. 4.5 of a second as down the pit straight they go. And I have to believe that the fireworks between Marcus and Lord Allam are not over yet. Way down to the inside is Marcus. Well, I tell you what. Proper torpedo-looking dive then. It's still side by side. Marcus has not been able to keep the position. Oh, I tell you what. Both drivers' tempers flaring there. So the grid getting slightly spread out now, but what we do see is Lil Jim within 0.5 second of Iris Dubs for the top spot. Getting closer to about 10 laps to go here, not quite yet. But it's 0.4 of a second between these two. Iris Dubs just the one position being made, Lil Jim back to second. Although it's not over yet. But Adonis up 16 positions. It's been a massive day for him. Mikey G gets around Rob Sue heading into the Hans Ernst corners. And it looks as if Marcus has actually lost quite a bit of time to the back of Lord Allam here. He doesn't have any apparent damage, but he's not even within DRS range anymore in the McLaren ahead. Giustarini, 0.4 of a second here, back to Shabs. Shabs does have a penalty of some sort. It's a 3-second for multiple warnings. For the time being, he'd only just lose that 10th spot to Giustarini after penalties applied. Coming up closer on 10 laps to go. That'll be in a couple of laps' time. But the question is now, does Lil Jim, on his soft tires, have enough to get round Iris Dubs? Of course, 3-lap-old softs, still in the prime of their operating window, is the soft tires on Lil Jim's Williams, but it's not really going to last much longer. He's got to make this move quickly. If he doesn't, it's going to be all over, and Iris Dub's going to start to walk away with this win. Three and a half tenths of a second here through Hugenholtz they go now. Lil Jim kind of follows Iris Dubs up the track, was probably hoping to get Iris Dubs into a mistake there on the outside. Didn't happen. We do have Shabs and Rob Sue side by side now. Shabs going to get round the V-carb in question. This has allowed Giustarini in the picture, and it appears that Giustarini has been in the gravel recently. It certainly looks that way. That's a bit of a slide for Rob Sue on the way in. Nothing too dangerous about that, but Giustarini does appear to be struggling with that car. JJ Trim still looking for the back of RLS Marcus here. Marcus has now fallen behind Lord Allam by 2.5 seconds. Slightly unprecedented. What is unprecedented? Oh, Rob Sue is spun. Well, I was wondering how Giustarini had gotten around the V-carb in question, especially through turn 9. Well, that's exactly why. Rob Sue's had a bit of a spin. 3/10 of a second here. Lil Jim still trying to hunt down Ira Stubbs as they make their way now through Hugenholtz. This next time by will be 10 laps to go here at Zandvoort. It's been a fantastic race, this. Still 2/10, 3/10 of a second between them as they make their way through Masters Corner now and in towards turns 9 and 10. Rob Sue, 10-second penalty for speeding to the pit lane. Yet again, we're seeing that. It's got to be about the 5th or 6th tenner for speeding today. Two-tenths of a second still. Lil Jim, credit where it's due, is still holding on to the back of Ira Stubbs here, but as those soft tires start to whittle away, you have to think that Lil Jim's chances of winning this Grand Prix are kinda, well, not even kinda, they are definitely slipping here. He's got to get going quickly. DRS is going to be activated down the pit straight. 3.5 of a second in closing. Ira Stubbs chooses to defend the inside. Lil Jim's going to have to go the long way around through Tarzan Corner. Is he going to be able to hold on to it? Yes, he will. And Lil Jim had to work for it, but he's gotten the top spot. Rob Sue, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, puts him up to 16 seconds. As we have a yellow flag, I think it is Rob Sue that's gone off somewhere along the line. Well, he's kept it going. Track stays green. Five-tenths of a second here between JJ Trim and RLS Marcus. Marcus is still continuously losing time to the back of Lord Allen. It's now almost 4 seconds. As Alex Duarte is actually going to get down the inside of Dundup for that 12th spot. Into the pits now is Rob Sue. Oh, and an additional 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He's going to call it quits here. We're down to 14. Down the pit straight they go. Ira Stubbs this time is not even relatively close to Lil Jim to be able to strike back and retake the lead of the Grand Prix. Not even close. Well, the V-Carb team will go without points today. Half a second here. JJ Trim. Oh, he's going to have to look to the outside of Marcus. Marcus actually defended quite well. Justerini and Shabs. Once again, these two have battled quite a lot today. It was either him or Lord Allen. I tell you what, this Aston Martin of Justerini has consistently battled McLarens today. At this point, he must be tired of seeing that color orange, that papaya surrounding him so far. 2.5 of a second. JJ Trim still to Marcus, and I think JJ Trim gonna have to play this one as close to Marcus as he can to try to force that Ferrari into a mistake, as I think that Alpine is quicker than the Ferrari ahead, but he's got to be able to get round him here, which for the time being he can't do. Between the top two cars now, it's over a second. I don't actually think Ira Stubbs is within DRS range. Well, he is actually, only just. 3-car battle now for that 5th spot as Ali trying to hunt down JJ Trim, as now RLS Marcus still losing time, now has 2 cars with DRS behind him. Down the pit straight he goes, DRS activated, JJ Trim. Well, he's not going to be close enough this time to find RLS Marcus, but he is getting close. This could actually eventually allow Mikey GTI into the picture as well. Shabs and Justerini yet again going through Tarzan. Justerini around the outside is not going to have any problem then. Going through the Rob Slotmaker corners now, through Shevlak, and in towards Masters Corner now. Still only about 0.6 of a second separate these 3 cars. And as well as Mikey GTI trying to get him in on this battle as well. I'll tell you what, Elite, looking to the inside of JJ Trim there, didn't quite have the opening. But as they make their way down, heading in towards the Hans Ernst corners now, it is 5, 6, 7, and 8 for position here. Ali is going to have DRS back to JJ Trim. JJ Trim's going to have it to Marcus. Marcus is in a world of trouble right now, especially if he can't defend. Here goes JJ Trim. He's going to have to look probably for the inside on Marcus here. Marcus is going to defend the inside. JJ Trim's going to have to go high. That's going to allow a lead to the inside line now. And now still side by side on the way through Hugenholtz now. As we have a yellow flag, Humantech has lost it coming out of turn 10, but Ali around the outside of Hugenholtz gets the spot over JJ Trim. This time by will be 10 laps to go. And for the time being, Lil Jim, despite being on the soft tires, is still putting time back to Ira Stubbs behind him. And we thought that it was going to be the other way around. We thought that Ira Stubbs was going to be able to stay ahead of Little Jim despite, mainly because he was on the medium tires. That's not the case. On the way into the Hans Ernst corners now, it looks as if still nothing is to be changed here unless potentially, it has to be said, Ali is looking quite good here to the back of Marcus. DRS activated through the Ari Lion tight corner. And down the pit straight he goes, and Marcus is going to try to defend as low as he can to the inside. Ali is going to get that position, unless does Marcus go to the inside. Good way for Marcus to get that position back. Great battle that was. Tell you what, Marcus has set him up quite well to be able to take that spot back. Nicely done by the Ferrari. 5 laps to go. As the leader of Lil Jim currently making his way down the back straight now. 2.5, nearly 2 seconds clear of Lil Jim. As the battle here rages on, Marcus trying his damnedest to defend to Ali. But with DRS being activated here, JJ Trim, is he going to be able to get around somebody if a mistake is made on the way into the Hans Ernst corners? Doesn't quite appear so for the time being, although we had a temporary look to the inside of Ali. Wasn't going to have any serious look that time. So Lil Jim now leads Ira Stubbs by nearly 2 seconds. We'll have 4 laps to go this time by. As I'll lead to the back end of Marcus as they go through Hugenholtz, the 2 cars behind them as well battling. It looks as if Ali is really getting away well out of Hugenholtz, out of these slow-speed corners. Ali definitely looks as if he's got the advantage because he's put time back to JJ Trim into sheet black. No, he's not going to have it there. Surely not. Although still, Marcus, I tell you what, the defending he is doing is fantastic. But the question is he going to be able to hold on to this position? Into the Hans Ernst corner still. Nothing separating these 4 drivers. But now it appears that Ira Stubbs, somewhere along the line, has lost an additional 2 seconds back to Lil Jim. Lord Allam's 0.8 of a second away from Adonis. RLS Marcus leads them down the pit straight once more. Ali will have to go the long way around. This is exactly what happened last time. Marcus is going to hold that inside. Marcus actually outbraked the Sauber on the inside and will keep the position still. Justerini, 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. For the time being, well, it doesn't appear that he'll lose the position to Shabs as he's got a 3-second penalty as well. Ali now looking to the inside. Oh, I tell you what, Ali really wanted it on the inside of sheet black that time. But as they head into Masters corner, well, I thought JJ Trim was going to have a look. He chose better of it. RLS Marcus now still trying his best to defend from Ali behind. He's had to work so hard this next time by. He's got 3 laps to go at the line this time. Can he defend Ali just that much longer? And look at this, 21 lap versus 13 lap old hard tires. It's getting to the point where RLS Marcus is hurting himself trying to defend this much. But down the pit straight they go once more, and it doesn't still yet appear. Marcus is going to defend the inside. Oh, he's done a bit of a Verstappen defensive job that time. He's gone slightly cockeyed into the corner. Mikey GTI versus JJ Trim here. Nothing of it. But now Ali exiting Hugenholtz. And look at this, into Shivlak, a little bit of contact being made that time. Still the battle rages on through Masters Corner. It's not going to happen now, potentially turn 9. Here it is, Ali going forward on the inside, way over the grass. Oh, and he slides! Is he going to be able to keep the spot versus JJ Trim? Yes, he will, only just. So he's lost an additional 0.3 of a second back to Marcus. And as they make their way into the Hansert's corner, oh, look at Mikey GTI, big send on Trim. What a massive effort that was for Mikey GTI, and he's lost the position, and he's out of that battle for the 5th spot. So we have 2 laps to go here. Yellow flag exiting Hugenholtz. It's Human Tech getting out of the way for Iris Dubs. Ali will get down to the will get around the outside of Marcus here, but Marcus still trying to hold the inside line, and somehow Marcus still has this 5th spot. Tenth and a half here still between Marcus and Ali. Ali really looking for it now. A little bit of contact there on the way into Shivlak. JJ Trim knows that he's in this battle as much as the 2 cars ahead, but a little bit still separating these 3 cars, 0.2 of a second each. As rounding Ari Lyondike corner now, Lil Jim. Starting the final lap of the Grand Prix, Marcus has gotten away at a turn 10, slightly better than Ali, then JJ Trim, but Ali trying it into Hansert's, contact being made, and somehow they're going to keep it together. Well, let's see, does anything happen into the Ari Lyondike corner? As it looks as if Adonis and Lord Allen battling it out. Oh, Lord Allen's gone wide, exiting the corner. Exiting Ari Lyondike, the corner just kind of slaps you around as they go down into the first corner. Final lap of the Grand Prix underway. Ali still trying to find the back end of Marcus here. Tell you what, the battle between these two, absolutely ridiculous. As into Shivlak, oh, he's not going to have it this time. But for Lil Jim making his way into the Kumo corner now, this Zandvoort circuit, well, if you ask Ari Lyondike what it's like to be slapped, he'll tell you about AJ Foyt in that time in IndyCar. But Lil Jim, as he crosses the line, will win the Dutch Grand Prix on one of the most difficult circuits that we will go to. As Marcus still, but it looks as if Ali somewhere along the line has actually lost position. Marcus, if he's able to keep the spot over JJ Trim, the double podium for the Mercedes team, Allen 4th, and Marcus, how in the world has he finished 5th? What an effort. Well, my friends, that's going to do it here. Be sure to join us next time out when we head to the Mexico City circuit for the 100% full distance Grand Prix. That should be a ridiculous race, that. And, well, if today's race is anything to say, very, very excited about it. Cole Paradox will finish 11th, Duarte 12th, and Dunda will round out the grid 13th, 14th for Human Tech. And for Lil Jim, your winner today in the double podium for the Mercedes team. That's going to do it. It's been a pleasure joining you once again here in the JAG Thursday Championship, and I'll see you next time.